Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I'm also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney specialized travel agency. It's my job to help you have the best possible Disney vacation by taking away the stress and anxiety of planning a trip so you can focus on the fun things like your family and enjoying the magic. You can find the podcast, my blog, or request a free quote over at eartotheretravel.com. Now grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. Walt Disney World's attractions are known for being completely immersive experiences. With amazing theming, incredible audio animatronics, and spectacular special effects, the attractions in the park are almost unrivaled anywhere else in the world. But what one aspect of an attraction can take a great experience and make it unforgettable? The music. The music on Walt Disney World's attractions can truly transport you to a different time and place. On this episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about the best Disney attraction music. Joining me this week is a man who's a former cast member, an annual pass holder, and someone who will more than likely break out into song once or twice on this podcast. Chuck Rodriguez, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back.
So you're welcome. And so this is going to be one that I really was excited about doing this one, and I was so bummed that we weren't able to do this actually sitting down in the park last week. But, Of course, as always happens with me, strep throat got me on the trip, and I was sick and we couldn't record. So thank you for doing the makeup date with me here today.
No problem.
All right, so there's really no shortage of great music on Disney attractions. It's kind of what makes the attractions, like I said, it takes them to that next level. So, of course, there's been some duds. Like Disney doesn't hit it out of the park with every single one.
True.
But yeah, I think this is going to be a cool list. So why don't you go first, if that's okay, and give me your in no particular order really, but your first one.
Okay, then my first one, poignant because it'll be very exciting to hear this literally in a different light as this weekend begins the nighttime safaris at Animal Kingdom. But it is the song that comes on when I guess your safari driver is pretending to go ahead and find like a local radio station.
Yep.
Now, I'm a worldly person. I know that it's like a 90% chance that someone in Africa, when they turn on their radio, they're actually listening to an American song.
Right.
But it is an actual song. I looked it up. It's called Hapa Duniani, performed by a group called the African Dawn. And I love that little touch that we really feel like we're just kind of out there and the driver's just fooling around with the radio and happens to pick up this song while you're going past the elephants area.
And it just happens to be the same song every time.
Every single time. Just like when they say that the baobab tree or whatever only has leaves. Baobab, sorry, baobab. I'm into those Korean tacos nowadays. I eat them constantly.
All right.
The baobab, that's baobab. The baobab tree, has leaves only like a month out of the year. Now, I swear I've been on that ride at least once every month for years and years and years. I've never seen the leaves. You're
just missing that 1 month.
I don't think I have.
It's not 1 month in a row.
It's sporadic?
Okay. It's 30 days out of the year. That's your month. That I worked at Animal Kingdom, just a few months after it opened. I love that attraction. It's always been one of my favorites. And I have kind of a soft spot in my heart for all things Africa at Animal Kingdom because that's where I worked. But I remember, I forget what the name of the class was. It was like Go Wild or something.
The class where after you go to Disney University, the first day you work in your actual park.
Yeah. So I remember riding because it was the first time I got to ride the safari, and my shirt and my button-down shirt and my khaki pants when it was 100 degrees outside, and you rode it. And back then, it had a much bigger story, and there was the the poachers and Little Red and Big Red, and
and the warden. I always forget his name. Warden
Wilson
Johnson. Remember when he goes, "They're not called Thompson's gazelles. They're Tommies. Tommies."
Of course, I remember the Tommies, man. Yeah. So, I forgot the doctor's name who would come over the
right.
Well.
Yeah, the woman. Yeah.
Yeah, Susan. I forget. But I think it was Susan something. But yeah, that one song that it always kind of brings you back to this story element of that attraction that used to be there. And I have a really weird, distinct memory of being on that attraction, and it's right when they play that music is right about when you turn and see the elephants.
Yes.
And I remember being on there one time in like one of those crazy Florida downpours, and that music was on, and the elephants were walking around. It's really cool. It's like a memory that I have etched in my mind. So yeah, it's a good pick, Chuck, for your first one. And you're right, that was not one that I expected from you. So I'm going to go completely opposite. I'm going to go with something that is going to be burning in your mind forever, and it's over at Magic Kingdom and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, of course.
Is there a more iconic Disney song than Yo Ho Yo Ho and Pirate's Life for me, which I will not be singing at all on this podcast, but it's awesome. It's like the quintessential Disney attraction, theme song. And it's and now with the addition of, I know it's not recent, but with the addition of the movie characters from the movie franchise into the ride itself, I also love the music when you go into like the naval battle scene, and it's the music from the movie.
Yes.
And there's Barbossa on the ship, and he's yelling for Captain Jack Sparrow, and the music's and the music's cranking, and then the cannonballs are hitting the water all around you. It's a very well done scene. Now it was always good, but now with that music, it just adds, like, I don't know, just like you really feel like you're in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I've always loved Pirates. And the Yo Ho Yo Ho thing is the greatest song, and it's written by was it Exitencio?
Exitencio,
yeah.
Yes.
So I forget his story. He wasn't a musician as far as I know, and then Walt Disney came to him one day and was like, "Hey, listen, you need to write this song for Pirates."
Right.
And he was like, "Well, I don't know how to do that." He was like, well, "You'll do it anyway."
I guess figure it out.
Yeah, so he did, and he came up with that, and it's great. It's one of the greatest, attraction songs out there. So, very, you could have guessed where I was going with mine. I love Pirates.
Yes, I figured you'd say it.
Yeah, I think your list is going to be,
I tried to be obscure on purpose.
Yeah,
I did.
All right, good. So now that means I probably have like 8 things that you didn't mention. 8 different,
maybe not. But I do want to say something about Pirates of the Caribbean with the song. I actually read this, so I know it's not just me, because I read an article recently about this. I guess leading up to the opening. Now that we're getting to see YouTube videos already of the Shanghai version of Pirates of the Caribbean, which only is based on the movie and does not do Yo Ho. Although I think I've seen a couple of the videos. I want to say there's like one little part where you hear Yo Ho a little bit in the background, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I remember watching the Pirates of the Caribbean movies after the first one. I watched them all while living up in New Jersey before moving back here. And in the theater, I realized, okay, I'm not the only one who knows Disney rides so well, because when that part comes on, like, people in the theater were cheering, and people in New Jersey. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously these enough people have been to Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland or Walt Disney World over the years that they know this song, they know why it's being used in the movie, and people are familiar with the attraction.
Yeah, I had a similar thing too when I went to see the movie in the the original one in the movies, when Johnny Depp is in jail and the dog is outside with the keys, and he says,
"Oh yes,
yeah, you can keep calling him. That dog's never going to come over, or whatever." And the whole place went nuts, and I was like, "Yeah, these are my people, man. They get me. This is cool."
Yes, exactly.
So all right, so Chuck, I think you're up. Yeah, you're up.
Okay. Well, the next one I'm gonna say is an Epcot, and it is a favorite of mine and your wife.
Okay.
And it is the "Oh Canada" at the end of the Canada Circle Vision movie.
Are you gonna sing it? You gonna sing it?
Canada, Canada, long yeah. And,
oh man, you had to see the reading on my recorder here.
Oh, I'm sure it went right up. Yes, I'm sure some glasses, wine glasses behind me in my bar area. They probably cracked. I remember even like because I took all French in middle school and high school, and I remember like because I bought the cassette at the Disney store as soon as the first Disney store opened on Long Island near where I lived.
Okay.
And it was the official album of Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and that song was on there. And I remember bringing it in because, like almost like a show and tell thing that we would do once in a while in French class. And because, it would go back between English and French.
Right.
And by that point, we still didn't know all the French words, but at least you could figure it out because it would go back and forth between English and French. And I'm so glad that in the 2007 redo, when they added Martin Short, that they kept the song. Except just like they say, the song now, I don't know who sung it originally. It wasn't Celine Dion because that's the only the only Canadian singer I ever think of. But apparently it was like their version of American Idol. So I guess whoever won Canadian Idol, I guess around 2007,
right.
They did it. And so I'm so glad the song is still there because I'll always remember that song fondly from the first time I ever went on it, which would have been like the summer of 1983.
Wow. Yeah, so I'm going to admit that I'm a horrible Disney fan. I haven't been in that in that movie for something like 6 years. I think since I've had kids, we were going to take them this last trip.
Yes, I know.
They fall asleep, and you're like, well, I can't. So I haven't seen it. It's been a while. So I think it was definitely redone the last time I saw it, but.
So it already had Martin Short.
Yeah, it did have Martin Short. Which, Martin Short makes everything better, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Martin Short. I do.
Me too.
He's an odd dude. But yeah. All right. Well, good pick. I like that one. And yes, my wife does love that song. That's one that we have on we have like the hard drive in our car, and I have the official, of course I do, have the official albums from Disneyland and Disney World on my hard drive. So that's one we listen to in a car pretty often. So that's as nerdy as it gets.
Yes.
So all right. So from I'm gonna go for my next one. I'm gonna be very predictable. And I'm going with Splash Mountain for my next one.
Okay.
The music just makes that attraction. Like you could say that, the big drop at the end is great. Obviously, the attraction itself has a great story, but the music kind of just pushes the story along. And there's so many different songs that are great on that attraction. Like I think it starts with "How Do You Do," which I'm not going to sing. Everybody has a laughing place, which I love. And then the big finale. With Zippity Doodah, and they have the big. I forget the name of it. I always forget the name of the ship, the boat.
I think it's Zippity Lady or something like that.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I think it is. But yeah, the music just makes that attraction. It really does. And even when you're outside, like in the parts in between show scenes when you're going around the mountain, and there's like I can't explain what I don't even know what instrument it is, but you hear the Zippity Doodah and with the little, like, it's kind of a different melody when you're outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so cool. It just makes it for me. And this past trip, I got to take our oldest daughter on it for the first time. She's 5.5, and she was so excited to ride it. She was just thrilled. And, we had to wait, 35, 40 minutes, and that kind of bummed her out because kids aren't used to waiting now.
Right.
They don't wait for anything, like, on demand. But they couldn't understand why in our hotel room we couldn't watch Goldie and Bear whenever we wanted to. I was like,
right, because no on demand.
There's no on demand in a hotel. And our, Jack, our son, was like, I want to watch Goldie and Bear. I'm like, bud, we can't do it. So kids aren't used to waiting at all. But she did a great job. She did really well waiting. And I kept reminding her, it's a big drop. It's a big drop. Your stomach's going to feel weird. And the picture of her going down that it's something that I'm going to save forever because her mouth is just wide open and like I can't tell if it's surprise or if it's fear or what it is. But then when we got down to the bottom of the hill and she's riding her face off, I was like, "What'd you think?" And she was like, "I loved it," but I don't know if she actually did. She said she did.
Right.
And then she really enjoyed the zippity doo dah at the end. She was dancing, she was clapping, and yeah, it's just a great attraction. But the music makes it. So
Yes, the soundtrack does improve. And, to this day, and I've been on the first time I went on the ride was within the first month that it opened here at Walt Disney World in like the summer of '92. And I still, to this day, I don't know exactly the words to that first song. So when you first go into the indoor scenes, is it "How Do You Do"? But sure enough, sure as you're born. Is that what they're saying?
I think it's pretty good. Sure as you're born. I think.
Okay, that makes more sense.
What's funny is I looked up the lyrics as I was doing my extensive research for this podcast episode, and I had them cut and pasted into the document. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to read them off because that sounds ridiculous. So now I don't have them in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. Sure as you're born. And then, I can't remember the rest of them, but it's a great song.
Yes.
So there you go. So, all right, Chuck, you're up with your next one.
Okay, then I'm going to go with the Wishes exit music. So it's the song that plays after Wishes is done.
Okay.
Now, I love the song itself. It's just a really nice song. It goes, how does it go? Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, something like that.
That was spot on, actually.
And it's really nice, obviously, after Wishes, which is a great show, although I'm a little bit over it by now because it's been on for 13 years, so I'm hoping it'll get replaced soon. But it's a beautiful song after the show as you begin to then turn around with the 20 or 30,000 people that are surrounding you and try to get to wherever you're going to next, whether it's exiting the park or whether it's going on another few attractions before the park closes in an hour or two afterwards. So yes, I just love it. It's a perfect. It's exactly what Disney does that other theme parks don't do. Like, it would never occur to you to go to a Six Flags or any other theme park in the country, and you know that after the fireworks show, there'll be a special song that they created, orchestrated, and recorded just to play as you're walking away from where you're watching the fireworks. Like, it would never occur to any other company on the earth to do that. So that's why I love it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And not that I've seen huge fireworks displays in other places. I mean, I've seen them over at the park that shall not be named down the street. That I do actually book trips to. So if you're listening, book with me. Yeah, no, you're right. That's how Disney does it. They do it so well with that kind of thing. And it's a very little touch. Just like, what that reminds me of a little bit is the Kiss Goodnight at the end of the Magic Kingdom Day.
Yes, same thing.
Yeah, they play the music, and there's the Walt Disney, or the dedication from. Did they play the Walt Disney dedication? I forget.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I think so.
They play something from Walt Disney, and then the guy comes over and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Magic Kingdom." It's great, and it's a little touch that you're right, you don't expect, but it makes when you're walking out of Magic Kingdom and you're elbow to elbow and you're sweating your head off trying to get out of there in the middle of July. It does make the exit a little bit more pleasant.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so, all right, well, that's a good one. And another one that I obviously didn't have on my list because I am completely predictable. So my next one that I'm going with is still in the Magic Kingdom where you just were, but it's Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress.
Oh, okay.
And, for one reason only, and it's There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. So I have one thing to say to you, and I want to say it, not sing it. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a dream away.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. There's a great big.
I just love that it's Walt Disney's song. The Sherman Brothers wrote it like in the 60s when they were getting the Carousel of Progress ready for the World's Fair. It's just cool. It's a throwback. I know it was gone for a while when the show first made its way over to Magic Kingdom from Disneyland.
Right, they used the now is the time, now is the best time, now is the best time of your life, which was another great version. Yes.
Yeah, and that was one. I read that it was changed because the sponsor, I think, was it GE who was the sponsor? I forget who the sponsor was, but
yeah, it was.
They wanted a new song
Right, that goes with their new marketing strategy or whatever. Yeah. Yes.
So Disney kind of, bent for them and put that new song on there. And then eventually they brought back Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, which fits way better with the show. I mean, it just fits in that show way much, a lot better than Now Is the Time did. But yeah, it's a cool song, and you'll be singing it to yourself all day. Like
True.
You walk out of there. I did it last month, and by myself. Again, nerd alert. I walked out of there, and all day I'm in line at waiting to get my table at Skipper Canteen, and I'm sitting there singing "It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow," and so it'll be in your head the rest of the day. So that was my very obvious one.
It will, and I mean, as children of the 80s, we did grow up with the other version, right, with the Now Is the Time. So I never knew about the original song. But actually, when they switched, which I want to say was around 93, 94, that they switched to back to the original version and even started calling it Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. Right. My family actually are the ones who they were really touched by it, because my Cuban family, when the World's Fair in New York was there, they had just arrived really less than a year before to New York and were just getting on their feet, and they had literally picked a weekend where they saved dimes and nickels so they can take the subway out to Flushing and go to World's Fair and go on at least a few attractions, and that was one of the attractions they went on.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, that's very uplifting from Chuck. I'm very happy. It's a rare uplifting moment from Chuck Rodriguez. All right. So, Chuck, what's your next one?
Okay. So, I am actually going to go with one that I'm surprised you haven't said, and it's fresh in my mind because actually just a couple days ago I met my brother, my sister-in-law, my two nieces at Hollywood Studios, and we did this, and it was the Frozen sing-along show.
Nice.
Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Let it go.
Now, I love, as you could probably imagine, I love karaoke. I'll do karaoke anytime, any place, in front of anyone.
Right.
And
yeah, I've seen that, people.
You've seen it. And so the Frozen sing-along show is incredible because it actually does encourage, the however many people fit in that theater. It's a pretty large theater.
Sure.
To sing along at the top of your lungs with every single song, and the words are right there in case you've forgotten the words, because I'm not 4, so I have not memorized all the words to all the songs. And let me tell you what, I sit next to my 5.5-year-old niece, and the two of us sing at the top of our lungs, just like when I do, just like her, I sing just, every single word. And even when I've gone with only adults and no children, I've also just sung along at the top of my lungs. I could care less. And it's a great interactive show, which, nowadays everything's supposed to be about, interaction, all the attractions and whatnot. So I think they hit it out of the ballpark with that one. I was really impressed. I did not think that I would love to watch a show based on Frozen, to even waste my attraction time on that. But I have gotten Fast Pass for it, and I have seen it more than a few times since it opened.
Yeah, we've done it. We actually didn't do it this past trip with the kids because we have done it, I think, 4 or 5 times already. And they did a really good job with that. And I think you're right. When I heard that was coming out, I was like, no. Like, we do Frozen at our house it's constant. It's been on since we got it on DVD. Our 3.5-year-olds know the words.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, forget about it. We're not doing that one. But we gave it a shot a couple years ago, or a year ago or so, and it is awesome. And what are they? The citizens of Arendelle,
the historians.
Yes, who actually narrate and host.
And they
the
are
show.
funny.
They're great. They're full of pop culture references and jokes.
Yeah.
They're a lot like, if anyone knows this, it's gone now, but the Genie in the Aladdin show in Disneyland with the pop culture stuff, like they're on it. Like if there's something just happened in the news, they're ready to make jokes about it in the show. It keeps it fresh. Right. It keeps it kind of really fun for adults. So I don't think my kids got any of those jokes, but I did.
Right.
But yeah, the interactive element of it, the screaming the songs at the top of your lungs. You can imagine Amy sitting in there with our kids and just belting everything out. Yeah, it's a really cool show. And the only reason I didn't mention it is because I think I was geared on like the classic, like you know what I mean? Like the more iconic like Disney attractions. But that is a great one. The music from Frozen is, some of the best music Disney's ever done.
True.
And the Frozen show debuts in California Adventure today.
Yes.
Today we're recording this on May 27th. Last night they had their big press premiere. And I have a mutual friend of ours who works out in California who was very close to the production of the show. Yesterday was completely panicked when I talked to him because the show was not ready for the press to see it. He was terrified. And I got a text from him late last night and said it went perfect. So I was really glad to hear that. But people who were really sad to see the Aladdin show go out there, I think, are going to be really, really excited once the Frozen show kind of starts to, gain momentum out there. It looks like it's going to be great.
And for those of us on the East Coast, I can't wait till Frozen opens on Broadway. But something tells me those tickets will be almost as hard to get as Hamilton, so that won't be easy to see.
You think it'll be as hard as Hamilton?
I mean, no, not as much, no. But I think it'll be up there.
Yeah, no, I would never even have known about Hamilton if I didn't have. Yeah, seriously, I'd be in the dark still if my wife wasn't the Broadway music junkie that she is.
Or you could just watch TV or read any blog because they talk about Hamilton every day. I'm just saying.
Maybe the stuff you do. I'm on Disney blogs and baseball blogs this time of year. I'm not on the Broadway blog, but yeah, we tried to get tickets. I tried to a couple times. And, listen, I'm not afraid to overpay for a ticket or a show, but I mean, it's outrageous to try to get tickets for that. All right, so
it's only like billionaires are getting to go to the show at the moment.
It's insane, and celebrities.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So by the time regular folks get to see it, the original cast will be gone, and you have to deal with the backups. All right, so that was whose was that? That was yours, Chuck, right? So
yes,
I'm on.
Go.
So this is for me
another obvious one.
Yeah, but it's not as obvious. Okay.
Okay.
It's I'm going to go with. At Hollywood Studios, very close to where you just were, I'm going to go with the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith.
Okay.
Because how cool is it to ride a roller coaster with Aerosmith blasting in your ear? You get Sweet Emotion and they changed the lyrics for Lovin' an Elevator to Lovin' a Roller Coaster, which is really cool. And it's Aerosmith, right? They're a classic rock band. They're, I think one of my favorite rock bands of all time. I think one of the best rock bands, in the last 40 years. So I love that one. The ride's great. The ride's still really, really good. The pre-show maybe needs a little work. I remember in 1999, it was the coolest technology. Aerosmith looked like they were in the room with you. In 2016, they look like they were on a high-def projection in front of you. It's not
exactly what they are.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same effect as it used to. But the music is still awesome on the show. It's great. What's really cool is I saw that Steven Tyler still really loves that attraction. And recently, he was there for his birthday. I don't even know what birthday.
Yeah.
He's got to be 102 at this point.
No, he's not the Rolling Stones. Aerosmith is different.
He just looks it. He looks old. But he can still
rock
sing.
Rock and roller's life.
He can still sing. Of course. He can still belt it out. But he was there to ride the attraction for his birthday. It was so cool to see it. And he's walking out after he rode the ride, and he's giving high fives to kids and signing autographs and hugs and taking pictures, and really cool because people like that. He's so big. He's so famous. You think he's gonna have his VIP tour guide and kind of hide out, but he didn't. He wrote it and with other people. It was really cool. But yeah, for me, to ride a roller coaster with with rock music playing in your ear, you can't. It doesn't get any better than that. So that's why I included the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith on my list.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm over it.
Yeah?
I've never liked Aerosmith anyway. So, and I know that it's obvious that Imagineering designed that ride so that the actual artist can be swapped out very easily. Very easily. it probably wouldn't take that much to swap out the music and the couple of references and the sign out front and the pre-show change it. Done. So I'm surprised that they haven't had another group yet. I don't know exactly what other artist or group at the moment they would use, but
is what I've heard.
Okay, I doubt it. I don't think it's a.
You go with Rudy here. My heart will go on the entire rap.
No, I don't think it goes with the actual track. But yeah, and not for nothing, because we all know that I'm always going to be the ultimate Disney fan. But there is a park down the street, in fact, closer to my apartment than Disney, so sometimes it's easier to go there instead. But they do have a ride where you get to choose your own songs from the genres. I also am surprised that they haven't updated that. It's the same choices that it's been since the ride, the roller coaster opened. I always personally choose from the disco, pop disco section, and it's always like the same two songs that I choose. But it is cool that you get to choose your own song.
Yeah, that is cool. I don't know what part you're talking about. Actually, I used to work there as well. But what's funny is my days at Universal, I worked in guest services, so I don't remember them as fondly as I remember my days at Disney, because guest services has to be one of the most difficult places to work, only because you don't know this when you go in, but basically you are selling park tickets and fielding complaints. That's what you do. Yeah, pretty much all day.
That's all.
And there's a lot of complaints, and you get some really difficult ones. That's a podcast for another day. All right, so I think Chuck, you're up with your next one, and I think
yes.
Is this your? What number is this for us?
I want to, let's see. I had a list here, so I'm gonna say this is gonna be my fifth.
Okay, so make this your best one, because we got. I think we should each do 5, and then if you have a couple honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, then for my fifth one, along the lines of the Frozen sing along, I'm gonna go with what I always considered, I guess, the first interactive sing-along Disney attraction song, but it's only one song, and it's from the Enchanted Tiki Room, which we all know has been around since 1963. And the song "Let's All Sing Like the Birdies Sing."
Let's all sing like the birdies sing. Tweet, 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 tweet.
Because that one literally did, right in the lyrics, encourage everyone in the theater to sing along, because they teach you the words and the melody in the first couple, stanzas. I'm not a musical person. And then afterwards you sing along. And I do remember being in the show numerous times where people, sang along. Now you go in there and you just take a nap in the air conditioning for 20 minutes. But back in the day, people did sing along. With that part as the and that's the part with the fountain, and then the mobile would come down with the Fifi and Mimi and Gigi and Colette and all of the female parrots. Yeah,
that was the mobile was designed by Rolly Crump.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, he designed the original one out in Disneyland. He and a part of an interview I did with him, I think that was episode 11 of the podcast. He talked about installing it himself in Disneyland, and how he was basically crawled like into the the
rafters,
the
I guess,
spot where it hangs, and he was installing it. Back then, the Imagineers were way more hands on.
Yeah,
he installed all that stuff like in the Tiki Room by himself. The Tiki gods, all that. He would show up to Disneyland in the morning with his his toolbox, even though he had designed these things from conception to he sculpted them and all that. He still had to install them himself. It was a different time back then. But
now they use contractors for every single teeny little part.
Yeah. Now there's all kinds of middlemen and everything else. But so it's a really cool pick. We just had our kids in the Tiki Room for the first time last week, and they loved it. And it's something that listen, admittedly, I've skipped a lot on Disney trips. Both to Disneyland and to Walt Disney World, because I'm like, I've done it like 10 times, 100 times, I don't know. And I know there's a big discrepancy between 10 and 100, but it's somewhere in the middle. But, and then I said to Amy, my wife, I was like, let's just try it. Let's see if they like it. And they flipped out. They loved it. And it's really cool to see it like through their eyes because, and thank God it's not that under new management Tiki Room that it was for a number of years. Because that, let's be for real, that was horrible. But yeah, they really loved it. They thought it was great. They sang, they danced, they clapped. It was really cool to see them, enjoy it. So yeah, great pick, Chuck. That was actually on my list. So you stole my last one.
The specific song or just the whole soundtrack?
The whole soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I was going with just the music from each attraction. So
okay.
To make up for that, I have two. Now I'm trying to figure out which one to go with. Okay. I am going to go with, the very, very iconic, another Magic Kingdom attraction.
Oh, God.
The Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay. I was afraid you were going to say Small World.
No. Listen, Small World has its fans. It's classic in its own.
Oh, yes. No, I'll always write it.
But the music is not. The music is great. Listen, it's a great song.
No, it's an incredible song, and it will always be special in pop culture.
Yeah, another one by the Sherman Brothers. It's awesome.
Right.
But yeah, that's not on my favorites.
So you're going with Grim Grinning Ghosts.
I'm going with Grim Grinning Ghosts. Another Exitensio song.
And the crypt doors creak and the tombstones quake.
Spooks come out for swing and wake.
Happy haunts materialize.
And begin to vocalize.
When you can hear that wherever you are in the world, and you immediately are put back into that attraction in your mind. It's awesome, and the music itself too. Just the whole ride has like the creepy music, that vibe, like the organ music and the ballroom scene and everything. All the music in the attraction is great, but Grim Grinning Ghosts is, especially when you're going through the graveyard and after you fall out the attic window. Not literally. I don't want anybody thinking you actually fall on the attraction. But and you're going through the graveyard and all the different ghosts are singing, and yeah, it's just a really cool experience. One of my favorites in the parks, and it is not. It's a small world.
That's good. And yes, what I've always been impressed by Grim Grinning Ghosts, because I'm sure I've read this or heard people discuss this over the years, is that the song is what makes the attraction not scary, because it makes it a little bit more upbeat and a little bit more playful. Because there is that whole back and forth between when they were creating it, that the Haunted Mansion was going to be really creepy and scary, and the Haunted Mansion was going to be just fun and cute. And so the song makes, and I have seen this, not necessarily with your children, but with my nieces and some other children I've been with, they are a little nervous. Right. And so the song is one of the few things that makes them realize, okay, well, this is not the worst thing in the world. It is kind of, it's a little bit nice. It's not supposed to be, all scary and morbid, like other haunted houses or whatever, other theme parks around the world. Yeah.
What's funny is I remember being out in Disneyland and having someone explain to us why, like, there were two different Imagineers. I forget, it was Mark Davis and Yale Gracie, I think, who ended up being the guys who primarily worked on it. I think, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think those were the guys. And Mark Davis was known for putting like a little bit of humor and a little bit of lightheartedness into stuff. And Yale Gracie was the one who wanted it to be scary. And
right.
And it kind of has elements of, like you said, both of that. Both versions of the mansion in the United States. There's the parts, when you go into the graveyard and it's the music is more upbeat and it's silly, and there's, the bust, the singing bust, and there's the ghost, but the first part of that attraction is pretty creepy. I mean,
yes.
With it, I always think of the guy in in a casket, the skeleton, who's screaming and let him out.
Let me out.
Oh
let
my
him
God. Out. So we just took our kids on it last week, and I forgot about that. And we turned to the right, and there's the guy, and he's screaming, "Let me out of here!" And I look at my kids, and their jaws are like, on the floor, and I'm thinking, "Oh man, I hope this doesn't go horribly for us the rest of the day." But
my niece had the same reaction, and she asked, what's he doing? And I said, oh no, it's all going to happen to all of us when we die. We're just going to spend eternity saying that. Just kidding.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to stop talking about the Haunted Mansion and terrifying young children who might be listening to this. All right. So that was all of our top. We gave our top 10. Do you have any
honorable mentions?
Yes.
Well, actually, I would go with the American Adventure.
Yeah, that's a great one.
and you know, it's like four. Or I had the list. It's like 5 songs that actually play in there. And I was looking it up, and if I'm mistaken, because the first time I've ever looked up details about it, but I believe only one of the songs is actually like a real song that's been around, I guess, since, you know, probably the 1700s, which was in the days of '76 when the Revolutionary War gets won. But all the other songs, the Two Brothers song during the Civil War portion. Oh no, Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? Obviously, that was not a Disney song. That's a real song from the Depression. And then, of course, the finale, Golden Dream, which is a beautiful song. Golden Dream is an inspirational, beautiful, beautiful song. And I remember one of the times I went on the American Adventure was with a friend and coworker of mine who had just left Cuba, like literally like just months earlier. And she was working at the hotel I was working at. And she, you know, was still very underexposed to American culture. And I took her to Epcot on the 4th of July, of all days. And we went on the American Adventure. And she, you know, what she kept saying was how incredible that a country, like it would never happen in other countries where you would make an attraction like that just tells you its history and makes it so inspirational. Like that just it never would have occurred to her as a Cuban, you know, to go into a big attraction with Fidel Castro and Che Guevara animatronics and all this inspirational music.
Right.
So she was also found it fascinating stroller parking. She said that would never happen in Latin American countries. People just put the strollers wherever the hell they want. But but yes, I love the music to that show. I still see the show every once in a while, even by myself. Of course, it's also nice because 32 minutes with air conditioning, and it's very comfortable chairs, actually. But yes, I will. It's one of the reasons why I love that show, not just because it's just a spectacular show and has the most audio animatronic figures of any other Disney attraction and whatnot, but because of the music.
But yeah, the entire thing is inspirational, motivational from beginning to end. And the cool thing about that theater, I didn't realize it, like how massive and how giant that stage is, and how it rotates the show scenes in and out of there. I saw some kind of special on that, and it blew me away how that was designed. And it's designed in what 82, or before that, because it opened in 82. So yeah, that's a great pick. So for me, one of my honorable mentions, I'm just going to throw them all out there all at once because I have a few that I didn't get to. Spaceship Earth, by the way, love the soundtrack for Spaceship Earth. That's another one that I have on my.
But you mean the original song when they used to play Tomorrow's Child?
No, I mean the one now.
Really? I don't even remember the music when I go on Spaceship Earth now.
No, for me it's great. It changes with every era that you go through. When you get to the Sistine Chapel and you hear the Hallelujah chorus and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the whole thing.
So like the background music for each scene as you go along.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. There's no like one song, but the whole thing as a whole is just awesome. And here's my 2 extinct ones that aren't around anymore, but I have awesome memories of these from one as a kid and then one from being on my college program, actually. The Spectra Magic Parade music.
Yeah, of course.
I miss that, and Main Street Electrical Parade is great, and Baroque Hoedown is an awesome song, but the Spectra music was the best. With I can't sing it, but
I don't remember it right now. If I did, I would sing it.
I have the lyrics. It's a million stars will play beside us, cast a spell of light, glimmering, shimmering, carouseling.
Glimmering, shimmering. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember now. Yes.
Thank you. See, I'm too embarrassed to sing, but I knew if I got the lyrics out to you, you would get it. And the other one is, do you remember, this is weird to say it this way, do you remember the Magic Parade?
Oh, my God, of course.
That was the best.
Because that was when I was in college program, so it played all the time.
Yep, I love that music. They had a slow version that was sung by, I forget who, in like the late 90s, and it was I feel like it was like Brian McKnight or somebody like that, and then they had just a over the top Remember the Magic song for the parade, and I love that song, and I'm going to go back and try to find a clip and put it in here somewhere so you could hear it, because if you haven't heard it, It was just like that most like up tempo.
Remember the magic.
It's time to remember the magic. It's time to remember.
It was just,
Na 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 na. Yes, I remember that.
oh,
That
it was so
good.
it was so cool. It was so up tempo, and you were like dancing. And I knew people who worked at Magic Kingdom. Amy worked at Magic Kingdom and would hear it every day because she would be out at Liberty Tree Tavern, as a greeter for guests to come in,
Right.
and she would hear that and listen to it and sing and dance every single day. It's great, one of the greatest soundtracks to a parade this has ever done.
It made up for the birthday cake castle redo.
Oh man, was that brutal? That's an episode for another podcast, or a subject for another podcast too.
Right.
All right, so is that it, Chuck? Do you have any more to mention, or you good?
No, that's it.
All right, well, thank you again for being on. This is always a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And well, next time I'm down, in the parks, we'll have to record a couple down.
Yes,
in the
record
parks.
one while there. Yes.
I tried to cheat and get the ambient music and put it behind us, but it wasn't going to work. It's not like
No.
So thanks again, Chuck. I look forward to doing the next one.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That's going to do it for this week's episode of the podcast. Thanks again to Chuck Rodriguez for coming back on and for impressing us with his vocal stylings once again. I'm having a lot of fun doing these podcasts each and every week, and I hope you're enjoying them as well. If you are, all I ask is please go on to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your favorite social media platform, and share any or all of these episodes. Also, go to iTunes, Stitcher, leave a positive review there. I'd really appreciate that. Remember, there will be a new episode of the podcast each and every Monday morning. Of course, unless I get sick like I did in Walt Disney World this past week. Thank you again so much for listening. Have a great Memorial Day weekend 2016, and have a great week. Bye-bye.